episode is brought by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you!
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Red Raptor Writes. About last week I started reviewing the Dead Sound Dinosauria short film series that's on YouTube. And we covered the first episode, Old Buck, about an old Styracosaurus who was competing for mates with a rival. It was a great short film. And I know a lot of you really enjoy the series. I did too back in the day when this came out. But now I want to revisit it and go through more of these short films because they are just phenomenal. I really liked Old Buck. You know, I said if I were to grade it, I would give it an A. And that brings us to the next animation, which is Our Frozen Past, which looks at life in the Prince Creek Formation. So this would be about like 69 million years ago in the northern tip of Alaska. And I didn't mention this in the last episode, but that would have been more of the Dinosaur Park Formation about 75 million years ago in Alberta, Canada. Maybe we're going in chronological order looking at the late Cretaceous. I forget what the other entries are, but I think the rest are in North America. We have one in the Western Interior Seaway, and then one at the end of the Maastrichtian, you know, with T-Rex, that classic Hell Creek area. Before I dive into this, just a few things. First, I did watch Invasion of the Tinosauruses, so those are the three that I'll be covering in my next Land Before Time review. I already have 9 and 10 done, I just need to write that review of 11, so almost there. And I am about to start watching Life on Our Planet. I got a lot of comments about that. I've been eyeballing this one for months. I've seen some criticisms online about it, but I want to watch it and give my own take on how that was. Oh, and also, one more thing. I don't know how well the camera's going to focus in on this book, but I went to the aquarium today with my wife, and I found this book about Steve Irwin there. Okay, I don't know how well it's focusing, but hope you could see that. Yeah, Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter. It's a short book. It's like a second grade level, but still, it was really cool. And it's kind of weird that he's like a historical figure at this point. You know, I grew up watching him as a kid, and I was devastated. I still remember when I found out about his passing, because I was actually a fan of the Crocodile Hunter while there was still a Crocodile Hunter. I know, I'm old. Some of you weren't even alive at that point. But he's just such a great zoologist and conservationist, and I love his work. Such just a wonderful spirit. So I had to buy that book. It was awesome. Okay. I think that's everything for the announcements, so a lot coming up. Let's dig this up. Let's get into this. And again, I should say that I'm going to be a bit annoying. I'm going to be talking over this because I'm pausing constantly because I don't want to get that copyright strike. Oh, oh, they're cute. Okay, so we have some parroting going on. Alright, it looks like she's singing, but that's not what's happening. Okay, so there's no narration in these, of course. They didn't get Morgan Freeman to do this. So I don't know if it says in the film itself, but this is meant to be Troodon. And I know this because in the behind the scenes of the making of Dinosauria that David, forget his last name, the creator David does, he does keep calling it Troodon. So I'll take him at his word that this is Troodon. Troodon, I guess we're just starting off with Troodon. Alright, let's get to the pink elephant in the room. So Troodon is a wastebasket taxon. It's holotype, the teeth, that's still, I think it was a single tooth. That specimen was just completely indeterminate. Like, it's a single tooth of some troodontid that lived, and you're gonna name an entire genus out of it. No. No. Alright, let's keep going. I'll comment this a little more later. I really like the eyes, the detail in the eyes. Alright, so this is Pachyrhinosaurus peritorum, and oh, a little screech. And I think this is like one of the first times, maybe outside of a prehistoric kingdom, that it actually resembles a P. peritorum. We've seen this a lot. I've covered the Prince Creek Formation a lot. They had March of the Dinosaurs. We had the Walking with Dinosaurs movie. We see it in we've definitely seen this a lot of times before. And they never really get peritorum right. They kind of just make it lacustai, the more southern Canadian and earlier species of Pachyrhinosaurus. Because it does look cool. Like, it has these spikes in the middle of the head and all. But this one looks like more like P. peritorum with the giant bosses over the eyes, the big boss on the nose, of course. There's no horn. No horn there.
You got us. Shut up!
Alright, thank you, Jurassic Fight Club. Thank you, Amazing Dino World, for almost ruining this creature forever. And these just giant... I don't even know what am I going to call these epic pariahs. These giant spikes coming out of its frill. It very much looks like a peritorum, and they even gave it the fluff. Which I will talk about later. I'll talk about the fluff later. Can we get through like a few seconds of this? I saw a bit about this in the behind the scenes, so I don't think we're going to get very far. Okay, so they're establishing that the Troodon does mimicry in this animation, which no, there's like no. I mean, and he acknowledges this. There's like no evidence of this whatsoever. It's just pure speculation, but it's not like speculation where it kind of makes sense. It works with the animal or the niche it had or anything like that. It's more just, hey, let's pick a cool random behavior and just attribute it to this animal. We're learning a lot right now about dinosaurs and their vocals. A larynx was just found on an ankylosaurid. I forget exactly which genus it was. I know I'm going to add it in post. So we're finding more and more evidence of their vocalization, trying to figure out how that works, but mimicry was probably out of the question. Or at least it might be possible, but we can't just assume that a creature did it, you know? It's a very specialized behavior. I do really love the designs. These are 3D models, but the artwork on it is as 2D as possible. Okay, and here's Nanuqsaurus, the polar bear lizard. So this northern Alaskan tyrannosaurid.
So good.
So, it's worth noting, I actually didn't mention this in the last episode of Old Buck, because it shows Daspletosaurus, and Daspletosaurus in Old Buck doesn't have any feathers. But here they give the Nanuqsaurus feathers, probably because it lived in a colder environment. I don't know how much such closely related genre would differentiate in terms of their integument, even if they live in different climates. I don't know, can like one close relative be more scaly while another is fully feathered? And they're just so close together but so different in this case? I'm not sure. But also evidence for feathers in tyrannosaurs. It's like, yes, we found feathers on Eutyrannus, which is like a very a much earlier, more primitive tyrannosaur void from Asia. Does that mean that all future tyrannosaurs had feathers? Probably not. We found a lot of, small portions of scale impressions from tyrannosaurids in the late Cretaceous. Not small parts of the body, but Sorry, I'm not even like I'm not. I should be watching this. Okay, all right. Troodon protecting her chicks. Yes. All right. Oh no. Are we gonna go full prehistoric planet here and anything small must die? That's pretty interesting, seeing a troodontid holding off against a tyrannosaur. You never see like this kind of combat in a documentary. You know, it's the big tyrannosaur, the top apex predator. It should just destroy anything in its path, but no, it actually gets scared off by this troodontid. While I'm paused here, another thing that Dead Sound, this dude David, mentioned was that, well, the Prince Creek Formation, Alaska at this time wouldn't have been this cold. It wouldn't have been this frigid, this snowy. So it's unlikely that there would have been snow on the ground for most of the year. Maybe a very few times in the winter. But it didn't get that cold despite being so far north. The Earth was much warmer back then than it is today. And I was reading it would be like between, what, like 35-ish and 55-ish degrees throughout the year. So very moderate temperatures. It wouldn't get this cold usually, or that warm. It would have been mostly a forested environment. But if it's not snowy, then the predators and the animals wouldn't be camouflaging to be white, like the Nanosaurus here. It's a polar bear lizard, it looks cool. It looks cool as white, but there'd be no use for this camouflage. And maybe it wouldn't need to be as feathery as we keep depicting it if it didn't actually live in a very snowy environment. Maybe it didn't have feathers and its size was enough. Or maybe it could have been more feathery.
Was that the bite of 87?
Oh, come on. Oh, man. Oh, that's horrible. I mean, okay, it's totally realistic. It's totally natural. It makes sense. But that just hurt to watch.
Would you get out of here?
Oh, no. Oh, come on. Alright, okay. And you don't need to roar at the top of your lungs. I get it. You're upset. But, oh, man. Alright, come on. It's kind of an interesting detail, as depressing as it is, that the mouth is animated to be more purpley and reddy because it had the dead juvenile in its jaws. Alright, thank you for that. Thank you for the emotional damage. And yeah, again, I know it's all natural. Babies die. Most animals don't reach adulthood. But it's really hard for me to watch. I just love animals so much, so watching anything die, like, it's totally natural, it's totally fine. The predator needs to eat too, but it hurts. It hurts my soul. Like, I was watching this one video on, I think I found it on Twitter or Facebook or something, where it's like, it was like a water buffalo just gave birth and then started getting attacked by lions immediately. And she was trying her best to defend her child, but she was getting attacked, the child was getting attacked, and they just snatched that newborn child away from her. It hurts to watch. Alright, so again, would a Pachyrhinosaurus have this coat of woolly fluff? These feathers? No, I don't think it's realistic. Maybe that's just me. Like, we have evidence of feathers in ornithischian dinosaurs, not just saurischians and theropods. And in the ceratopsian lineage, we have that in Psittacosaurus. But for a larger animal, again, in an environment that wasn't like that freezing, would it need fluff like this? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, I don't want to make it sound like Tyrannosaurids weren't feathered. Like, there probably was some feathering, maybe. We just don't have the evidence of it. So I like Prehistoric Planet's approach, where the Tyrannosaurus, it's leathery, it's scaly, but you see like those little filamentous feathers. Kind of like how an elephant has hair, right? It just has like a very light coat covering of tiny hairs. So when you're that large, you don't really need that much insulation. So I think Prehistoric Planet found a good balance there. So showing that yes, they had feathers, but no, they didn't have that like much fluff, a giant coat. They didn't need that. Spider-Man moment. Alright, you know, it's nice that, okay, this chick lives. Alright, it's nice. I appreciate it. I mean, your brother or sister just died, but, alright. Yeah, so, again, about, Troodon here. This is the Arctic species. Oh, you see it in, Planet Dinosaur also. This is the Arctic species. And, like, come on, we're calling this Troodon. Like, again, Troodon, totally undiagnostic from just a tooth. And this was a tooth found in the Judith River Formation, like, 76 million years ago in, I want to say Canada? Is it Canada or Montana? So, you're telling me that this single tooth from this region that's thousands of miles away, 7 million years ago, like 76 million years ago, 7 million years before this. This is the same genus as this much larger Alaskan Troodontid 7 million years into the future. Same genus. They're going to call it the same thing. Come on. Come on. It's such a wastebasket. Like, if it weren't for the nostalgia, Troodon would be dead by now. People would stop saying Troodon. We would have moved on to Stenonychosaurus. And then whatever this creature was, Troodontid, I hope we find more material of it and give it a new name, because Troodon ain't working. Okay, I guess that's our Frozen Past, the second in the Dinosauria series. And I feel like I was much more critical of this one. There's a lot that I like. I mean, I think we've gotten to a point we're seeing a fully feathered Mataraptoran, like a Troodontid or a Dromaeosaurid. It's becoming more of the norm, thankfully, in dinosaur media. Thank goodness it took them long enough. So, you know, there's praise there. He got it right. But, again, it's something we've seen a lot of already. I think he did a great job on the Pachyrhinosaurus paratorum. Excellent, except maybe with the feathers. You know, he took a lot of creative liberties with this one, and that's okay, right? This isn't meant to be a documentary and purely educational and totally reshape our understanding of the past. No. But, you know, he does take a lot of inspiration from actual science, but also those creative liberties. And I feel like the creative liberties in our Frozen Past are a little more far-fetched than the ones that were in Old Buck. Like in Old Buck, it was more the color schemes and the ornamentation of the Styracosaurus, which we know is crazy already. And, okay, maybe that final stab in the end was a little brutal. Other than that, it was a little bit of a narrative, maybe more of a narrative than an actual life of a Styracosaurus, but, you know, it was really on point. But for this one, I felt like it was, like, you know, great. It was great. The animals look great. The environment looks great. The animation's great. But scientific, in terms of the science, just a little more unbelievable. Like with the coldness, the Troodon being Troodon, the fully feathered white Nanosaurus that we keep getting, the woolly Pachyrhinosaurus, the mimicry, stuff like that. And it's not like he doesn't know this. He's not ignorant of this. He just took creative liberties, which is fine. You know, like, as long as it makes for a good movie or a good short film, then that's what matters, right? Because it's not meant to be a documentary. So whatever works to push the narrative and the style and the creativeness, the creativity of the series is what works, is what you're gonna go with. I do really like the sound effects. Like, it feels like winter. I think it did a great job with the sound effects. And the soundtrack is very good. And you saw my reaction. That it did hit me in the feels a bit. So overall, I do think it is a great animation, but I would like bump it a notch down from Old Buck in terms of accuracy. I would give this one more like maybe a B+ or A- for accuracy, rather than the A I gave Old Buck. And then I'm just nitpicking here. He does a great job. Again, I'm not here as the Lord looming over him, right? To like strike him down like I'm better. I'm like, you know, judging him and his work. No, it's great. It's fantastic. He's done better content than I'll ever make. But, you know, it's just fun to look at. How does it hold up in terms of the pure science and scientific accuracy? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what goes into this. Alright, so that's all I have to say for Frozen Past. Let me hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Let's get that subscription in. Some of you were asking for that, and I think he's earned it. So remember, if you enjoyed this episode, to please leave a like, subscribe, and to check out my social media. See you next time.